Hey everyone, this is Tonio and welcome to a new video. Today I figured actually just playing around with the new Photoshop AI, and I was like, hey, why not just record a video about it and how I personally utilize AI for my own photos or for my own workflows, and how I've been utilizing the Photoshop AI most recently, also my latest Instagram post, where I actually took screen grabs that I shot on my Fujifilm that were 16:9 and converted them into 4:5 images for Instagram through using the new Photoshop beta version and the new Generative Fill. So let me just quickly show you how I work with it, and maybe it'll inspire you down the way for your own photography. And so let's go. So here we are in the Photoshop beta version, and I already created a 4:5 background layer. And I also prepared all the screen grabs that are actually, once again, screenshots from video footage. They're not even actual photos in that sense. So I already imported them. So all I did is pretty much just drag and drop them in. And you can see here, this was a shot I made. So everything's shot on the Fujifilm X-T3, by the way. So this one is from a 4K 60 video, just a screen grab of a blue shark that I took or shot in the Azores. The other one is a crocodile from Costa Rica. Also everything shot, once again, everything video. Another reef shark, a white tip reef shark that I shot in Costa Rica as well. And then that was a surfer where I shot some surf footage, and once again all of these are screen grabs. So let me just quickly show you how I use Generative Fill and actually how pretty cool it is to pretty much convert your 16:9 or even CinemaScope files into pretty much any format you want. So if I just activate the blue shark right here, what I do is I click on the selection tool and I make my first selection on the top, and then I hold down Shift and I make the second selection on the bottom. You can also do any part of the image that you want to fill individually. It'll actually give you more creative freedom, and you can regenerate more ideas for each different section. But for this one, since it's mostly, just a darker tone of blue on the bottom and a lighter blue tone of blue on the top, it should be pretty simple, and I don't think I need two separate ones. So I just hit Generative Fill, and then if you just leave it blank, I could also just type in something like, oh, I don't know, add a whale on the bottom or something, anything pretty much, and we're gonna get into that in a minute. But for now, I'm just gonna hit enter, and then Photoshop is just pretty much trying to fill it as naturally as possible. And so let's see the results that it's gonna come up with. And the cool thing about it also is that, and you'll see that just in a second, you can see here it actually did a very great job on also kind of figuring out, okay, the whole gradient, how the colors are going to turn out, and then also that pretty much put some sort of sun, a light source on top here, which I think is really cool. Another thing I like is that you actually get a separate layer, so you can activate and deactivate that, and then it doesn't just only give you a separate layer that you can then paint on, because you have the layer mask here. So if I were to select, a black color, I would paint on the layer mask. I can actually, manipulate that as well. But it also gives you different options, so I can click through, there's several options. So here it actually figured how, I might want to have some rocks on the bottom or something. The next one I have some more water reflections from the surface, but I actually prefer the first one. I actually really like that one. Now we have something here where you can see, okay, so there's a small fish swimming by. So if I wanted to add more fish, then what I would do is I would make another just small selection, let's say here, something like that. And I would just say Generative Fill, add a fish, and hit enter. And then so what it should do is it should figure out, okay, what does the other small fish look like? Like an AI would think, right? I don't know. And then try to replicate that or make something very similar. So let's see. And yeah, you can see here, it gives us a few options. I mean, they're not the best. I guess the first one is kind of okay. I would honestly just hit generate again here, and that way it doesn't get rid of the first three, but it gives you even more options going forward, and then you can just hit that as often as you like and just choose the best version. I actually think this one's quite alright. This one's absolutely horrible. That one also doesn't work. So I think number 4 and the new number 1 are the best. So and you can once again do that and redo that as much as you want, and eventually you'll get a decent result. So just for demonstration purposes, I'm actually going to go with this one now, and just hit Command T. That way I can transform it, and I actually want to flip it a little bit and maybe make it even a little smaller. I don't know. Maybe something like up here. Okay, and then when we zoom in, so the issue I see here with this one is that you can see the small like box around it, so where the colors are not 100% matching. So we can easily fix that just by clicking on the mask here on the right side, and then take the painting tool, hit X. So we're painting with black pretty much, and then what we do, increase the size, and we're pretty much painting away the mask here. And if you have a very low hardness, and I maybe put the flow to something like a 10, then I can just softly brush around the edges here and really make this smooth. Just slightly around the edges up here as well, and then that way we get the smoothest result. Also, I feel it's still a bit sharper than the other fish. So once again, what I'll do is I'll just select the mask, and then I'll search for blur, and then I'd probably just do blur, box blur, or Gaussian blur. Let's check out the live Gaussian blur actually. And blur amount, this is way too much. Oh damn. Okay, so Photoshop just crashed on me. Interesting. Okay, we're back. That was a live crash. Okay, so we're back. Where were we? Okay, it actually didn't save the latest changes that we did in terms of smoothing the edges here. So let's do this again. Thank you, Photoshop. That's awesome. Might also be my computer that's just getting old, but you know, I'll try to pretend it's Photoshop. Okay. Let's get rid of the edges here. This is pretty much the same thing as we did before. And then now we can add some blur to it. Hopefully it works this time. So let's search for blur, and let's do maybe box blur. This time might work out better than the Gaussian blur. Might not crash the system. Let's put the radius down to like maybe 1 or something. I think that looks pretty decent, and almost like similar level of blurriness than the other fish. I think that looks pretty nice. All right, so if we zoom out, we then added small fish to it, and once again, you know, you could ask Photoshop to generate even more versions of the fish, or you select a bigger area and you create a whole swarm of fish. So this is actually something that I've been doing more recently with my postings, where I actually shoot mostly, you know, video in the past. I mean, I take a lot of photos too, but a lot of my work is just video. So that just gives me all these 16:9 or CinemaScope, whatever format, screen grabs or all that footage, which I obviously love to utilize and change the format and everything. So this new Photoshop Beta AI has just been a tremendous help with that. And I think it's pretty awesome how easy and quick it is, and the results you're getting with it. So this was our blue shark. Let's actually now maybe give it something that's a bit more complex. So I'm just gonna unselect all these layers here. Let me just group them and get rid of it. So here we have another shark. Let's check this one out, because if we want to add on the top of the bottom, if we want to add the extend the image, then this time the AI would actually have to come up with some coral reefs with like some sort of rock structure. So let's see how that works. All right, so pretty much doing the same thing here, selecting the top and then trying to select the bottom at the same time. Let's see if it works. We might have to, in this case, do 2 separate selections, but for now, well, I agree. But for now, let's just hit enter and see what the AI gives us. Okay, wow, so in that case, you see it kind of overdid it, but let's go through the options that we're getting here. So this one I actually kind of like. At least I like the bottom part. I do not like the top part. So I could totally stick with the bottom part here. I think it did a very nice job of, you know, having these like 2 layers here, and like the rock, the way it falls off, and extending the whole reef section here. I think that's pretty awesome. And then the third one also I think might be a bit over. The bottom part once again looks better than the top. I also like the corals that it added here. So once again, I'm just pretty amazed, honestly, by what it already comes up with, and this is just the beta version. And just the things that you actually can use are already pretty impressive. So I would say we hit generate just another time just to get a few more options. If not, we'll go with the second variant for the bottom and add another layer to the top. Let's check it out. So this one's already a lot better in my opinion. Actually, this time I don't like the bottom part. It's weird, you know, with each one you get like different things that's like good, things that are not. But this one I think is amazing. So in my opinion, this looks very, very realistic, and I wouldn't even have to make any changes when it comes to that. I'm also going to give it a thumbs up, so Photoshop's getting some feedback. But this would actually be something I could just totally export and then drag it back into Capture One, where I do my color correction and then maybe apply some sort of look to it. Yeah, I think this is pretty awesome. And once again, this was like, what, in a matter of a few minutes, we pretty much turned a 16:9 into a 4:5. Yeah, it just gives it a whole new look, right? Because obviously you're changing the entire perspective. So this is a way I love to use the new Photoshop AI tool. And if we check and uncheck this, we can see the before and the after. So yeah, so let's group these two up as well and deselect it and try out the next one. So this is a image of a surfer that I took. Oh, it's actually not an image, once again, it's a screen grab. So let's just do the same thing, and then maybe we can try to add some birds or just add a little more atmosphere to the image as well. Okay, selected the top and the bottom. Let's hit Generative Fill. Nothing to add here. And once it's done that, let's see what else we can do, you know, just play around with it a little bit. I think that'd be interesting. I might want to add like some birds or something in the background. So this looks pretty cool already. I like this. This not so much. This is also not good. But the first one I think looks pretty nice. The bottom part with this reflection here, I don't know. But I think I'm happy with it actually. So let's use that one, and then here I feel I might want to add something. So let's just say we want to add a school of birds flying by. So let's see what it does and how realistic the actual results are. That'd be interesting to see. Okay, that looks awful. Okay, so the third one actually isn't bad at all, but I want to still generate one more time and just, you know, get some more options, you know. But this one is already pretty cool, especially considering that we can then once again just take that, transform it, add a little bit of like, you know, more motion blur to it or whatever. So this one's also not the best. This one's all right. That one's awful. Let's hit generate one more time. And it's actually not awful, it's just that obviously I would like them to be a little more out of focus. And they literally just look like they've been copy pasted. So not the greatest, but okay, that's not bad. I mean, we're complaining on a very high, like, you know, on very high standards, I feel. I mean, it's pretty amazing already what the AI is giving us, in my opinion. So this option is actually my favorite. I like this one the most. So, and I actually think it looks kind of realistic actually. We could also then once again transform it, do something else with it. But this is actually a pretty cool way of just adding things to your image. I think, you know, you could argue if it looks super realistic or real or not. You can then once again also just select individual birds if you want to just get rid of them, pretty much. You know, you can hit Generative Fill and just leave it at that. And you know, if it might be a little too much, you know, giving us 3 different options that all look the same, pretty much just removed the seagull. And so yeah, so this is a pretty cool and easy and convenient way on how to enhance your photos. And this is pretty much the only way how I use AI in my work right now. I know there's a bunch of features, a bunch of apps, a lot of things out there. I've only played around with Midjourney so far and Photoshop AI, and I definitely prefer the Photoshop AI over the others. And of course, the whole AI topic is a bit controversial at the same time, especially amongst the photography community, which I completely understand. I remember, you know, taking photos in the northern Arctic Circle, trying to get some like northern light shots, right? So that was like one of the main goals that we had. And nowadays you can, with AI, you know, you can really just tell Photoshop, hey, add some northern lights, and to any, you know, nighttime like photo that you took, which might have been a great photo except for the northern lights, but it just takes so much work away in a way. The entire effort that you had to put in previously in order to get a certain specific shot, you know, nowadays it's just becoming so much more easy and accessible. Whether or not that's a good thing or not, I feel, even though I can't answer this question right now, I feel nonetheless we shouldn't, or we should embrace this technology for ourselves and try to, you know, pretty much trying to, you know, doing what I do here, like stuff that I already captured, that I already love, just trying to elevate it to the next level, without it losing its soul, or without it losing its like the core value, or the core like part of like creativity or whatever, right? Like just going back to this image, like I went in the water, I shot this image, I waited for the perfect lighting, like all these things went into creating it, and now I'm using AI to change the format, to enhance it, to maybe add something. So this is the way I use it right now. I think once again, it's, you know, we should be conscious, or just, you know, watch out in which direction all this is developing. For now, I really like, and I think this is an incredible tool that you can really utilize to just enhance your already existing photography or video game, whatever. Yeah, let's see where all this goes. I'm excited for it. I mean, let's just see. But let me know your thoughts on that in the comments, and maybe let me also know how you are utilizing AI for your work, or if you are at all, you know. Yeah, that was it for this quick little video, and I hope you enjoyed it. If so, please let me know in the comments, or if you have any more ideas or videos going forward. Probably the next couple videos are going to be out in the field, because I've been spending too much time indoors. So I'll see you in the next one somewhere outside, and until then, wishing you all the best, keep on creating, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.